Hey everyone, this is Dr. Usher. Many of you have known me for years. And I know you guys all have your own personal opinions about me. But today is not about me. Today we're going to acknowledge some people. And I want you guys to acknowledge these names with me. Breonna Taylor, Philando Castile, Melanie Crow, David Joseph, Cynthia Marie Graham Hurd, Susie Jackson, Ethel Lee Lance, DePayne Middleton, Clementa C. Pickney, Tawanza Sanders, Danielle L. Simmons Jr., Sharonda Coleman Singleton, Myra Thompson, Nathan Trapuzano, Charlie Kirk. The one thing these names I mentioned all have in common is that they were all Christians. The people being murdered in these shootings are Christians. Even in the high school shootings, the majority of victims are Christians. And I have listed just a few names of some of these victims. Some names you know because of the media, because the media has made them famous, but others you probably have never even heard of because the media didn't deem that their existence was worthy of them mentioning those names. But I think the people are worthy because all lives are worthy. Their names matter. They were somebody's loved one. And I'm going to post these names in the comments. And I want you to take your time and Google who these people are. Some of them you know. Some of them you don't know. But these are human people. They had lives. They had families. They had their whole world taken from them by one act of violence. Some of the names I mentioned were black people. Some of those names were white people. But one thing is for certain, they were all human beings. And what I want you guys to know is that the media bears the responsibility. See, behind the scenes, the media, they are stoking and instigating violence by the way they report the news. Think about this. If you're a Democrat, when did you start believing that Trump was a racist? If you're a Republican, when did you start thinking and believing that Democrat liberals were dangerous? Who told you these things? Where did you hear them from? You just didn't make that up in your head all by yourself. Where did you learn these things from? You learned it from the media. The media is feeding us garbage. Everything you've heard and learned about political points of view, racial relations, anything social, your information came from the media. And it's time we hold the media accountable for intentionally sharing biased information and politically charged divisive rhetoric that provokes violence just so they can have another story to cover and make money. So y'all didn't think I was going to. Well, let's go deep. Y'all ready? Let's go. What I want you guys to look at right now, I want you guys to look at the numbers that the death of Charlie Kirk has potentially generated for these news conglomerates. Let's take a look at this. Let's look at the numbers. This is the amount of money that the media, who provoked this violence by putting out this divisive, hateful rhetoric, this is their profit margins. This is what they potentially made. I ran some numbers based off their last year's numbers, based on how they calculate revenue. And this is what I came up with. Just within 24 hours alone, this is how much money these guys are going to make. And I'm going to call them up by name. Reuters. They're going to generate $384 million. The Associated Press is going to generate $144 million. Bloomberg, $67 million. CNN and Fox, $768 million. Meta and Facebook, check this out. They're going to generate, from you watching those videos and clicking on them, they're going to generate $15 to $20 billion extra in revenue. Think about that. Just think about that. Think. These are publicly traded companies. Every last one of them. Publicly traded companies. The news media that we listen to every day, that we turn on, from Fox News to CNN to MSNBC, they're getting their news from publicly traded companies. They have investors, and these investors will do whatever it takes to make a profit, even if it costs lives, including the life of yours, and Charlie Kirk's. Because that's how they make money. You tune in, you watch, they make money. That's the truth. So today, in good old Dr. Usher fashion, I'm going to expose who directs what you hear. I'm going to give you their companies and their names, because I'm sick and tired of you. Listen up, black people. I'm getting sick and tired of you guys too being pimped around by these corporations, pushing and pimping this crazy information to provoke you to act a fool on those streets and shoot somebody. Crazy white boy living in the country with your AR-15, I love you. But some of the things you've been taught, if not all of the things you've been well, let's go ahead and be real. Everything you've heard from the media have passed through one of these companies I'm about to mention, and every name I'm about to mention had to sign off on you hearing that garbage. And remember, every person I mentioned in my list were Christians. Even the kids that are being killed in the schools, Christians. So guess what? It doesn't matter if you're Democrat or Republican, because the people that the media, the news conglomerates, seems to be targeting are Christians. So who controls? Who presses that button? Who okays it for that garbage to be sent through your airwaves, to your television, to your phone, to your radio? Who controls it? Well, I'm about to snitch. Snitches get stitches. Stitch me up, baby, because I'm about to blab it. The Associated Press, the chairperson of the Associated Press, is Garcia Mortuari. The president and CEO is Daisy V.R. Singham. I can't pronounce her name properly, but I'm going to post it. Reuters. The president is Paul Bascobert. The editor-in-chief is Alessandra Galani. CBS News. The president is Ingrid Cyprian Matthews. NBC News. Chairman Caesar Cundy. ABC News, President Deborah O'Connell. Democrat, Republican, immigrant, Jew, Gentile, Protestant, or Catholic, let me tell you something. We all need to send a letter to each of these executives and demand that they stop with the bias, stop with division, and start reporting the truth without pushing narratives that place our lives at risk. Because the people that are being provoked to take our lives, they're being provoked because they hear this garbage being pimped by the media. I can't blame you for being mad at me. I can't be mad at you for wanting to shoot somebody. You know who I'm going to get mad at? I'm going to get mad at the source, because they're the little imps that's standing. You guys remember back in high school, how, I don't know if y'all white people went through it, but black people, we definitely went through this. But you remember back in high school, there was always that one guy instigating the fight. You know, so-and-so and so-and-so said this about you. He did. Yeah, I think he want to fight you. Then he'll run around and go tell the other person, you know, so-and-so said he want to fight you. You might want to go look at it. And then he get both of y'all together, and y'all looking at each other ready to kill each other because of that one person behind the scenes provoking it. That's the media. That's the media. Garcia Mortiari, President and CEO Daisy Veer-Singham, President Paul Boskabert, Editor-in-Chief Alessandra Galani, President Ingrid Cyprian Matthews, Chairman Caesar Cundy, and President Deborah O'Connell. Those are the ones that are controlling what comes through those airwaves. Nothing goes through unless they approve it. So when you hear things about how Democrats are crazy and violent, Democrats are this, liberals are this, the LGBTQ is this, that, and the other. Remember, these few people that I just mentioned are the ones that approved the media to say that. I don't care if you're conservative or Democrat or Republican or whatever, or liberal. They're all owned by and run by these people. And they're controlling the narrative. So listen up, black person in the hood, in Chicago, wherever you are. When you hear stuff about Republicans hate black people, Republicans are taking away our food, Republicans are taking away our money, Republicans are blah, 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 and immigrant, listen up, mis paisanitos, yo hablo español también, listen up. When you hear that garbage on the news, even in Mexico, remember, and these are the people that I mentioned that are approving that garbage. They are approving it. And you got to ask yourself why. They're trying to stoke the fans so they can get money. Because when you do stupid stuff like this and you respond to their stupid news media with violence, guess what they're going to do? They're going to get the camera out and you boo-boo the fool. You're going to go to jail and they're going to make millions of dollars off of your stupid butt acting out on what they told you to believe, and you didn't have enough sense because your mama didn't raise you right to go talk to somebody. But hey, I know that some of you guys are thinking that that, you know, let's go to gun rights real quick. The guns are the problem. You know, Charlie Kirk, you know, he said he's a proponent of the Second Amendment, and the guy that shot him has Second Amendment rights, blah, 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 blah. Okay, listen. While the media has told you that the problem is guns, because remember, some of you guys didn't even know that guns was a problem until you heard it on PBS, NBC, ABC, MSNBC, or whatever. Someone had to tell you to believe that narrative that guns was the problem. You just didn't think that up out of your old imagination. And while the media tries to tell you that guns is a problem, I want you to look at England, Mexico, Colombia, and other countries without gun rights. In their countries, only criminals have guns. And innocent people live in fear. England, where guns are banned, knife crime has exploded. I got a research that I'm going to post listed by Partington, Walsh, and Lampart 2025. They did a research about this. So I'm here to tell you, the problem isn't access to guns. It's the intent of criminals to do harm. The real challenge that we're going to have to face, ladies and gentlemen, is balancing the Second Amendment rights with public safety. And here is the solution that I can tell you can work if you guys will stop listening to the media and listen. Here's the solution. Every one of you listening must get involved in your local Democrat or Republican executive committee. And I would dare say 90% of you didn't even know those things existed, or what am I even talking? What is he talking about? Republican or Democrat executive committee. There is a Republican or Democrat executive committee in every county in America. Many of you think that voting is your only duty, but have you ever wondered for one moment who picks the candidates for you to vote for? See, ladies and gentlemen, by joining one of your local committees, you can help shape your party's voice. How do I know this? Because I was a member of the Duval County GOP, Republican Executive Committee. I served, I enjoyed it, I got to meet a lot of people, I got to meet potential candidates, and I got to meet some candidates I thought would never make it. I'm like, nope, not voting for that one. For example, I met Cayenne Michael at one of those events, fell in love with this lady's heart, and I did everything I could to make sure she won our district. TK Waters, our sheriff. That was a cool guy. I liked his heart. See, the media was always trying to pan these two people out to be, coons and all. Literally, they were calling them coons and downtown pimping Democrats and all that stuff. The media, the names I mentioned, were approving the media to say this garbage about them. Helped out Aaron Bean. I helped out Mr. Yarborough. I helped out even Trump's campaign. I helped out Angie Nixon before I signed in office, because when you're part of a committee, you cannot endorse or support a candidate that's not part of your party. So prior to joining the party, I would help these people. If you had a good heart and I felt like you were trying to do what's right, I was going to help you. And Miss Daniels helped her. Got people out to vote for her. Because we didn't have Republicans in that area before I joined the committee. Because remember, when you join the committee, you can't take sides. You have to stick with your side. You can't go on the other side. And that's one thing I got to tell you guys. One thing about the political system in America, it's intentionally designed for us to be in conflict. The forefathers designed it like that so that we could avoid destruction of our own society. So one person get a little bit what they want, this person get a little bit what they want, and it'll just all balance out like yin and yang. That's the way the forefathers envisioned our country. But because of the lack of civics being taught in our schools, the new generation, millennials, Gen Z and Gen Alpha, they don't know about healthy discourse. You can agree to disagree. And that's what makes America so great, because we can agree to disagree without resorting to violence. So, I want you guys to know that I want you to consider joining your local executive committee, whether it's a Republican executive committee or a Democratic executive committee. There's one in every county in America. So basically what you can do is you can enter the name of your county. Let's say you're Duval. Duval Republican Executive Committee, or Republican or Duval Democratic Executive Committee. Or if you're in Baker County, it'll be Baker County Democratic Executive Committee. Or wherever you are, Montgomery County, Tennessee, Montgomery County Republican or Democrat Executive Committee, and just join. Because let me tell you this, the only people that are paying with their lives are our brothers and sisters in Christ. We're the ones dying. And we're boo-boo the fool because here we are taking sides, not realizing that, hey, we're the ones being killed. Christians, believers. Every name that I opened up with at the beginning of this video were all Christians, killed by someone of a different race, both black and white. So what would happen if Christians who are Democrats joined the Democratic Executive Committee and pushed and they held true to their Christian beliefs and voted and put people in office that are going to do and abide by Christian values? What if Christians who are Republicans joined the Republican Executive Committee and held to their values and put in candidates who held to their values? Do you know how much foolishness would come to an end? I would dare say 80% of the foolishness in politics would end, because now you got people in office, they're held accountable to one core standard of behavior and morals. I told you the problem was kind of simple to solve. See, right now, these committees, they're controlled by a handful of insiders who control the political narrative. Many of these people stay in power for money, not because they care about your needs, but they want to be in control, power and control. So if you, especially those of the faith, will step in and let your voices be heard, you can enter into these executive committees and change the whole dynamic. Because let me tell you something. When you go to these executive committees, a lot of them are just maybe 10 or 20 people. 10 or 20 people are controlling the narrative of your city, of your political party. 10 or 20 people. Because why? They don't want you to know that these organizations exist. Because if you join them, that means they got to accommodate what you believe. Listen up, black people. They don't want you to join. They don't want you to know about the Republican Executive Committee. They don't want you to know about the Democratic Executive Committee, because the moment you get involved is a moment that they got to be held accountable by the rules of the organization. Think about that, people. So it would behoove you. Get on your iPhones, get on your Androids, get on your computers. Start Googling where your local executive committee is and join. Join. Remember, America, we have free speech. You have the right to disagree with me. You have the right to even insult me. You can cuss me out. I've had death threats. That's one of the reasons why I pulled off the internet. There were LGBTQ radical groups that were threatening to come to my home at the time and kill me and my son. Back then I only had a son. So I freaked out, called IC3 and the FBI and reported it. And I got off the internet. Back in those days, I had a reach of 3.8 million people. So of course the wackos came out for me. And I deleted all that and put it all away because my life was being threatened. And you have a right to cuss me out, call me names, troll me even. But disagreeing with me does not justify murder. Disagreeing with someone does not justify murder. Period. Your life matters. My life matters. Your voice matters. Our voice matters. We have to learn to live together. Have disagreeing conversations without the fear of me trying to come behind your back and blow your head off, or you trying to come behind my back and blow my head off. We got to learn to have civil discourse. So if you want change, get involved. If you want peace, get involved. If you want the media to stop spinning and pimping this bias and stirring up division, then write those executives that I mentioned. I'll put their names in the comment section. And also you can go to drusher.com. All that information is there. And you got to stop believing a false narrative that is black versus white, Democrat versus Republican, rich versus poor. Because the people that are pushing that narrative, those names I already mentioned, they're the ones pushing that narrative. It's not even real. They're doing it so they can generate ratings so you can watch the news and pay attention to them so they can make money off your suffering. That's how they make money, people. They can get you fighting and acting a fool, going out there killing somebody. They put their cameras on it, and people going to watch it. Ooh, look at that. Look at what happened. Ooh, look at all that. Look at all that. You just made them rich. Go to drusher.com and look at the money that they're potentially going to make off of just this one guy being murdered. We're all being manipulated, people. And now you know who profits from it. So now you got the power to stop it. Because if you don't, the next person that the media may try to execute will be you, your children, your mama, your daddy, your sister, your little brother. They're going to come after you. Especially if you're a Christian. For some reason, they're targeting us. They're targeting believers. I'm not saying everybody, but the majority of people dying are Christians. Now, you tell me what to think. Go to drusher.com. This whole message has been written out, and all the information is there on the website. And if you have a loved one that has died from gun violence, I want you to go to the comment section on drusher.com. I want you to mention their name because their names are important. Even if the media doesn't think that their name is worth anything, their name is worth something. And I want you to post your name. Even if it's a friend, it ain't got to be a loved one. It can be a friend or someone that you know. Post their name in the comment section on drusher.com. If you got their obituary, post the link up on it too. Their lives matter. And it's time that we hold the media accountable for the garbage that they're spewing out. Okay? This is Dr. Usher saying I love you. And Jesus is the answer. God bless you and goodbye.